Sonic. Has anybody even remembered that this movie was happening? Because I sure as hell forgot. Mainly because we haven't heard so much about it since its announcement. I mean, aside from the fact that we heard that Jim Carrey was going to be in the role as Dr. Eggman, which I don't know if that decision is brilliant or really strange. But we finally got news about the movie with a teaser poster last week, and to say it had a lot of people going, "What?" would be an understatement. It starts out rather promising with Sonic speeding around the dark room collecting rings just like the games, and then speeding up to the camera, and we get our first sort of look of our live action Sonic. Because they're using a rim light effect on him, it's very hard to figure out what his face and the rest of his body looks like, but let's hope we have enough to see and make out what exactly this teaser shows. My first impressions were underwhelming to say the least. In a way, my reactions ranged from okay to oh no. Now, I recalled having the same skeptical opinions on a live-action game involving non-existing animals like Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Back then, I was convinced that making a live-action Pokemon would be impossible without altering their appearances by a lot. But then the trailer finally launched and completely surprised me at just how well they actually managed to bring these Pokemons back to life. Pikachu looks really good in this trailer, Charizard looks badass, and the Squirtles were spot on as well. But of course, there were some that fit the uncanny valley like Mr. Mime, Jigglypuff, and Psyduck. Although, to be fair, Psyduck is not really an appealing Pokemon to look at even in animation, and Mime is gonna look freaky regardless. But still, the fact that they were able to pull off the designs without having to change much other than their textures was really impressive. Sonic, however, is where they had to make noticeable changes to his appearance in order to fit with his anthropomorphic body. And while it is surprising that they were able to bring him to live action and still able to keep most of his features accurate to his video game counterpart, it still looks all kinds of wrong. It looks like they stacked his head onto a real-life body and just gave it fur. And the thing is, it's not a terrible attempt at a live-action Sonic. I've seen much worse in other live-action movies. But it's the anatomy of his body that is so weird to look at. Now, if I were to see this poster at a very far away distance, maybe squint my eyes a little bit, or if they were to cover up half his body, while there would still be some criticism, I don't think anybody would be up in arms about it, because when you just look at the head, it's not that bad looking, to be honest. Now, let's get to the noticeable changes on him. The most obvious would be his body build. You could see that he has muscles on his arms and legs, and probably has some body build on his chest too. I know that you can't give him the noodle arms from the games because, well, there are just some things that won't look good in live action regardless, but do you think you could have toned it up a bit for how unnaturally small his body is compared to his head? And speaking of arms, yes, his arms are blue in this version. But honestly, I think that is the better solution. If they were to keep his arms flesh in this version, it would have made this design look so much more awful. Also, where's his gloves? Why would you not give him the signature handwear that he has had for years? Unless those are his gloves, but form-fitting? I don't know. I don't really have anything to comment on his head. Like I said, when you can't see his face, it's really hard to talk about if the design is that good or not. All I can say is, it's okay. It's probably the best looking part of his body. And as I said, if they just showed his head only for these promo shots, it looks rather fine. It's just when you see the entire body that makes you go, ugh. As for the legs, there does exist another poster which gives a better look at them, and yeah, it's just another flavor of what the hell. It's amazing how wrong this design can look in other angles, but yet seemingly makes me think that this is the best attempt they could make bringing Sonic to live action. Now, this is the same problem I had with Detective Pikachu. I don't know if it's the fur that makes most of the Pokemons look weird or the designs itself. Same thing with Sonic. I don't know if it's the design of his model that makes it look so freaking weird or the amount of fur he has on his body. Ugh, my mind is melting every single time I look at these photos. Oh, and he doesn't wear socks either. That's yet another signature look on his character missing in these photos. You couldn't at least try to have his socks match the games in some way, or give him ankle guards to replace them, or hell, just wrap his ankles in bandages. In fact, I'm surprised they didn't went with replacing his socks and gloves with bandages if designing the gloves was that hard to do in live action. Don't ask me how that could be hard, but maybe something was going on behind the scenes that I just don't know about. And here is the biggest change that really irritated me the first time I saw it. And I'm sorry, I have to do this joke.
Officer, I got one question for you. What are those?
What the hell are those? That one drove me the more insane. Yeah, it's not the body that made me upset, it's the fact that instead of giving him his iconic Sonic shoes that were in every single game imaginable and is one of the most recognizable shoes to ever exist in video game history, they instead gave him these old ass white people red shoes from the 99-cent store. What the hell? If we want to give them the benefit of the doubt though, I'm guessing they did this so that once they hit the 1 hour mark of their movie, they will finally reveal his signature shoes that will make him faster than ever to stop Eggman before he finishes whatever plans he has for Sonic or others. And to that, I say, fuck you! Let him have his shoes from the start! Needless to say, this was not a good start to promote your Sonic film. I feel like his model needs a lot more work before you can show it to the public. I mean, this is a really early promo. The movie doesn't come out until next November, so they will have some time to fix up his character to make it look more visually appealing. But as of now, this is not a good first impression for people who do want to see this movie. But you know what the damnedest thing is? I'm still kind of looking forward to it. Despite my complaints on the design, I'm still very curious on how this movie will turn out. Apparently it's about a cop helping out Sonic to escape the government that are looking to capture him, which probably implies that he has not been around Earth for that long for people to actually be on his side whenever bad things happen around their world. Not a completely original idea. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Bumblebee movie is doing the same thing, but it will be interesting on how they go with it. But I do hope they release a trailer sometime in 2019 that will give us a full look of what Sonic actually looks like. I mean, it can go two ways. It will either look way better than the promotional teasers like what we see in this fan art, which, by the way, is really freaking awesome, or it will look like the Goombas from the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I also wonder what Jim Carrey will look like as Dr. Eggman. Is it bad that I kinda hope they go with his design from Sonic 06? I mean, it would fit somewhat given that is the most realistic Eggman we have seen so far in the games. But I don't know, I might just be in the minority here. So, what do you guys think of this Sonic poster? Do you like it? Do you not like it? And what changes will you personally make with his design shown here? Also, are you planning to see the movie when it gets released next year, or are you passing on this one? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and gotta go fast! While I was Google searching some images to use for the video and finding the Sonic poster, I came across these two gems. This hedgehog can outrun everything except his guilt over his failure to prevent 9/11. What the fuck? Also, I found this one too. What the hell is wrong with everybody?